Hey y'all, today we're cruising into the heart of Maggie Valley, North Carolina. First up, we're checking out Wheels Through Time. It's just an incredible museum packed with rare vintage motorcycles, American history. It's around every corner. And after that, we're walking just next door to grab a bite at the Maggie Valley Sandwich Shop. It's the perfect little spot for a tasty lunch. So stick around. It's going to be a great day in the western North Carolina mountains.
Want a treat? Come up here. Come here, get your treat.
Winston's getting his treat. Welcome back to Maggie Valley.
Yes.
Wheels Through Time.
Yes.
Beautiful location here, so let's go check it out. Got Jonathan's Creek running right down through here. Look at that.
Pretty.
Yeah. Both ways. It's like a big crowd in here, doesn't it?
It does. The grounds are so pretty. Look at that area right there.
And over here with the plants. Like sitting over there.
Mm-hmm. The gate's real ornate, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's just bikes sitting everywhere around here. Mm-hmm. Old, vintage.
Sidecar.
Check this out. Coast to coast adventure. Look at this thing, Karen. Is that wild?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and check it out. My goodness, this place is huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It smells like motor oil in here.
Motor oil.
So I'm going to have, this is Brian, I'm going to have him walk you in the back.
Okay.
And meet up with one of the guys and then.
Okay.
They talk to everybody, they crank everything in here runs, so they crank it and they show everybody, tell everybody.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chris Eastep here from Wheels Through Time Museum, located in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Wheels Through Time is an all-American motorcycle museum that specializes in sharing the history of transportation in the United States, starting in the early 1900s and really all the way through the 20th century. Now, we're standing here in our board track exhibit, which is one of the most popular exhibits here at the museum, which chronicles a really early era of racing in America. Now, on the wall here, you'll see a picture of what they called the board track. All across the United States in the early part of the 20th century, you had racetracks that were banked at 60 degrees, built out of 2x4s stacked up on top of one another, and guys as young as 14 years old would get out and race these machines at speeds upward of 100 miles an hour with no clutch, no brakes, and just wearing a repurposed leather motorcycle helmet.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and this is where the era of just all-out speed really began to start. And it's one of those exhibits here where it kind of highlights what we're about here at Wheels Through Time. We're about the history, but also about the story and the character of these machines. As this collection was put together, somewhere right around now about 400 motorcycles, the specific thought was to bring together the rarest and the most iconic and the most special bikes that have been created in the United States. And so there's a lot of what we call one-off machines here. And either they're rare because of how few there were made originally, how few there are still in existence, or who owned it and raced it. So the only place in the world you're ever going to see this DAR racer is right here at Wheels Through Time. If you guys want to come up here, we'll crank up an early bike. One of the things that we're really big on here is not just sharing the history of being able to see the motorcycles and walk up to them and look at them, but also being able to hear what these bikes sounded like. Because through the years, Harley always has had a very distinct sound, but there are some changes through the years. So this is a 1916 Harley-Davidson. It's what we call a Cutdown. Now, if you were to go and buy a bike in 1916, this is not exactly what it would have looked like. The bike would have sat a lot higher up off the ground. The handlebars would have swept a little further back to you. But as guys decided they wanted to start racing these machines, they began to modify them. So a lot of people are familiar with the chopper era of motorcycles. Before choppers, you had what they called bobbers, and before bobbers, you had cut downs. So guys would actually modify the frame to lower the seating position, to lower the ground clearance, modify the seat to get it down a little lower, and just to make it a much more stable racing machine.
Wow. So is that the way they run them with the pipes? Like
Yeah. So they would, all your racing bikes, typically they would run those really short pipes. So obviously it makes the bike a lot louder. Your standard road model Harley wouldn't have been that loud. It would have had a longer exhaust pipe. And actually in the early years, what Harley had was what they called a town and country exhaust. And the purpose of that was, in the early years of motorcycling, you're still riding and sharing roads with horses, and you're also going into towns where people yet have not got accustomed to the noise that cars and motorcycles make. So Harleys, there would have this pipe that come off, and they would have a muffler here, but they would also have a bypass. So when you were out on the road, you could reach down and open that bypass, and you just have a straight pipe. So you had this kind of little poppy sound. It was a pop, 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 pop. And then when you got ready to ride into town, you just push that lever down. It would close the bypass, send the exhaust through the muffler, and it would quieten it down to this. So Harley, they sold themselves for many years as what they called the silent gray fellow. And it was because of that town and country exhaust that would quieten the bike down as you traveled through town.
I saw you jump when it backfired.
We don't just focus on complete motorcycles here. One of the other things that we have, an exhibit that's really popular with our visitors, is this section here, which we call Homemade in America. You know, it really kind of shows the ingenuity and the creativity of Americans, specifically through some of the more economically tough times in our history. So you think about the era of the Great Depression, when a lot of people are running low on money, but they still need things to survive on their farm and in their business. By that time, you had a lot of motorcycles that were still around, and so they would repurpose these things to be used as other equipment. So here you have the orange one there. That's a repurposed Harley-Davidson B model motorcycle. That was actually found in a gold mine out in California.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can still see a lot of the original frame of the bike and the tank and the engine. And so they put it on this mining cart, used the original Harley transmission in conjunction with and also a tractor transmission. So you have 9 forward speeds, 3 reverse speeds, and that's what they were using to pull the ore carts in and out of the mine. Then you also have kind of a smattering of farm equipment. You have a big motorcycle-driven ice saw. You have cultivators, garden tillers, lawnmowers, snow blowers, and things like that.
Well, I had no idea that Harleys were repurposed for things like that.
Yeah, and all of this stuff here was just, you know, things that were homemade by people. You know, Harley didn't build any of these. People were just taking what they had and using the motors to power, you know, whatever they needed around on the farm.
So recently we watched some hill climbing motorcycles, remember?
Yeah. Every now and then.
It's what they call the wall of death. So you see this little diorama here, and this is exactly what it looks like. So that whole building there would come on that flatbed that's sitting in front, and then the guys would ride the motorcycles on those completely vertical board walls.
Yeah, I guess once you got your timing down, unless the partner messed up, you're okay.
You know, it's just physics. You know, you understand the physics of all of it. Now, if you were to Google the world's rarest motorcycle, this is actually the bike that'll pop up. This is a 1916 Trob motorcycle. Now, most people have never heard of Trob, and there's a good reason for that, because this is a completely one-off machine that was pretty much entirely hand-built by a gentleman named Richard Trob around 1916. And the reason we date it to that era is because there's only 3 parts on the machine that he didn't build himself, and that's the seat, the carburetor, and the magneto down there that generates the spark. Every other part of the bike, the frame, all the sheet metal, every part of the engine, he custom built and fabricated, like I said, right around 1916. The mystery of this machine is nobody knew it existed outside of its creator until 1967. They're tearing down a building on North Paulina Street in Chicago, and as they're tearing the building down, they find this bike inside. Now, the people who found it, all they knew is they found an old motorcycle, so they actually took it to the Suzuki dealer there in Chicago, and he traded them another motorcycle for it, and he just put it in his showroom, because again, he didn't know anything about it either. It was just this really unique old motorcycle that nobody had ever heard of. And then Dale ended up purchasing the machine in the 90s. Now, when Dale got the bike, it was still a great mystery of, you know, we didn't at that time didn't even know the gentleman's name besides his last name of who built it. It was just Trob. And through the years, we've been able to do a bunch of research, archive searching, genealogy searching, to try to find out a little bit more about this machine. And so what we've been able to determine is a gentleman by the name of Richard Trob lived on North Paulina Street in Chicago. Behind his house, he had a small bike shop where he would work on other people's motorcycles. and he built this. You know, this was his entire conception. Now, the weird part about the story is that Mr. Trob didn't die until 1954. And so the question has always been, why did he never do anything with the motorcycle? Because had he put this bike into production in 1916, it was so far ahead of its time, it would have put every other motorcycle manufacturer out of business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One incredibly beautiful motorcycle that just operates completely flawlessly. It's just an exceptionally rare machine. This 13 Indian here was actually owned by Oscar Hedstrom, who was one of the co-founders of the Indian Motorcycle Company. And that's a completely one-off machine that he was using as a prototype. Now, the motor that's in this is not actually found in any production Indian. It's a completely one-off motor. So they were just doing some experimenting, trying to figure out new things that they could do. Same thing with the Harley there behind it. That's a 1909 Harley, so that's 6 years into Harley's production. That's the oldest Harley-Davidson that we have here at the museum. Still a running machine, but that was also a prototype machine where Harley was experimenting with changing their belt drive from a smooth leather belt to a notched leather belt.
I see that there, yeah.
And currently our oldest bike in the museum is that one there in the back. That's a 1901 Keating motorcycle made by the Keating Wheel Company. We think that when you have a bike like this is a 1909 Pierce four-cylinder, first four-cylinder motorcycle in America. But every one of these scratches and dents and wear marks tells part of the story, you know, of the guy who owned it and rode it and the adventures that he had on it. So this exhibit highlights some of the best examples of original paint machines that we have in the museum, covering from about 1909 till about 1950. And it's just part of that story of seeing all these machines in their original condition without ever having been updated or touched or anything like that.
That's so cool. I just like the look of that.
Yeah. This is actually the very first one that they built. And it was actually the one that Will Henderson, who was the co-founder of the Henderson Company, this is the bike that he test rode around Chicago in 1918 before they put this machine out to production. A 53 Panhead, and she lived in North Lima, Ohio. And in the course of her life, she put 170,000 miles on this motorcycle.
Wow. This is all right, isn't it?
It is very neat.
One of their newer bikes here.
So this is one of our most recent acquisitions, and it's actually a bike that we've been chasing one of these particular models for a long time. It's kind of in the old antique motorcycle world, kind of one of the holy grails of motorcycling, and it's called the Cyclone. It was made by the Journs Company in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is a 1915. And the Cyclone, they made road model bikes that you could get, you know, for the general public. But where they were most famous for was in that board track racing era that we've talked about. And their engine design was a little bit unique compared to everybody else. They actually had a worm drive gear that came off of the main shaft, and then you had a shaft that goes up here. And on the board tracks, in the short races, these bikes were, I won't say that they won every single race, but they were the dominant force. There's only maybe about 10 of the twin cylinder Cyclones that are still in existence. One of the, at the most recent antique motorcycle auction in Las Vegas in January, probably one of the best examples of a twin cylinder Cyclone sold for $1.3 million.
So we're looking at probably one of your most valuable bikes here.
You know, and for us, it's like we don't look so much at the monetary value as we do as the historical value.
Sure.
And for us, like this is probably one of the most historically significant bikes in the collection. This is, at least at this point, the only known single-cylinder Cyclone still left in existence. But if you guys are interested in coming out to see us, we're open Thursday through Monday. So we're closed on Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, and our operating season runs from the first week of April to the end of November. So we'd love to have you out, and if you want more information, you can go to wheelsthroughtime.com.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
So how nice was Chris?
Oh yeah, he's good at this.
And look at this. There's an upstairs. We just barely touched on it.
No, but he gave us some of the highlights that people want to know about that are the top things that are most interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He's a pretty popular guy here, so we were fortunate to be able to get him. If you're a Harley fan, you definitely want to, even a motorcycle, you want to come here and check it out. Okay, that was pretty cool.
That was.
So in the Maggie Valley, this is a definite stop. Come in and check it out. It's most friendly. They'll fire these bikes up for you. And
Yes.
great. Now I think we can Found some lunch here, Karen.
Yes.
I heard about a sandwich shop over here we're going to go check out.
Yes.
So they do have a big parking lot here if you're traveling with the Class B van. You can cross the bridge with your motorcycles. Wheels Through Time Museum. But right here is Maggie Valley Sandwich Shop. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go. Soup of the day, Italian wedding. I don't know what that is.
World famous banana pudding. We'll have to try that. Maybe we
Oh,
could
yeah.
share that. Well, once again, she's struggling with the menu. But that's okay.
No, I'm just saying there's a lot. There's classic
Yeah.
sandwiches, house specialty sandwiches, wraps, salads, flatbread pizza, vegetarian stuff, hot dogs, soups and chilies. I mean, you know.
Well, I know I want this meatball classic sandwich.
You know what? I think I'm just going to do the chicken tacos too. Yeah.
There's your pasta. And there's the meatball. Let me know if you
Thank
need
you.
anything.
Those cheesy potatoes look so good.
Yeah, I think you missed out on that.
I
Look
should have
at,
got that.
look at this thing.
Well, I can taste of them. Going to.
Look at that.
I can't believe you talked me into getting 4 tacos because I can't eat all this.
Well,
I'll have
we
to take
will.
2 home,
Yeah, we'll
2
take
in the
that.
van.
Oh, hot.
It looks hot. Steam's coming off of it.
Oh, you can't have any of that.
I'm going to try some.
What do you think about that?
It's really good.
I love a good meatball, cheese, good bread.
Good.
It's really good. I mean, you know that. Don't take all my topping off there.
Okay, look, I just got a little bit of it.
Marinara sauce can win or lose a sub sandwich like that. That's good.
The marinara's good. But what about the meatballs?
Meatball's good too.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay, we asked for some banana pudding to share.
Right off the bat, it looks like it's going to be good.
World famous?
That is excellent.
I started to take my hat off and throw it.
That is really good.
Yeah. This place is good. Maggie Valley Sandwich Shop. You guys should come and check it out. Okay, had some fun here.
Yeah.
Wheels Through Time and the Maggie Valley Sandwich Shop.
I'm telling you, that was some great food, and the banana pudding was excellent.
World famous banana pudding.
Yes.
We recommend it.
Not only could you do the sandwich shop, Wheels in Time, but you could go down and play Maggie Valley carpet golf.
Then go through the antique store.
Yes.
That would be a fun.
And they're just right here, and it would,
You can walk to all of them.
you could walk to all of them together, and
Yep.
it'd be a great day.
Until next time, we are Fridays.
Forever.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
There he is.
Yeah.
You want to tell everybody bye?
No, so did you bring me something?
Oh, he thinks he is spoiled rotten, that boy. We don't have anything.
He's like, is it bacon? Is it French fries? What do you
Go on
think?
down the road, buddy. Here's that receipt. We forgot to tell people how much that was. $34.23. But there was a nice couple that gave us some gift cards, actually. But thank you all. Generator.
Oh, you want a treat, don't you, buddy?
Listen, gets a treat every time he goes to the bathroom. Because he's spoiled rotten. Isn't he, honey?
Yes.